Hi everyone, this is Alex Milstein. I'm the editor-in-chief of Betting News Now, and this is Bet Ed Now, a video series focusing on bite-sized bits of betting industry knowledge. Today my guest is Keith Moneymaker. He's the owner of Sweet Dreams Mattress and More in Southern Pines, North Carolina, and he's going to be talking to us about the Dreams for All Foundation, which is a nonprofit charity that he started to help donate used mattresses. Welcome, Keith.
Super happy to be here. Thanks for having me on, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Keith, I'm really looking forward to talking about Dreams for All, which is a charity mattress donation foundation that you have started. Tell me a little bit about what exactly it is and what you guys do.
I think the most relatable thing people listening and reading is that everybody in the mattress space, like when somebody buys a mattress, we're more than likely, unless you're an online company, you're dealing with two mattresses. You're dealing with the new one delivered and you're dealing with the old one removed. So across the board, like we're all touching these used beds. And that sounds bad from a perspective like, oh, they're used beds. Well, not all of them are that bad. But before I get into the nitty gritty of that part of it, a need struck and we responded. So that's how most great things are born, is like there's a certain need and these things are awoken. And that's exactly what happened with us. Hurricane Matthew struck southeast of us back in 2016, and a lot of flooding occurred. A high poverty region, one of the highest poverty regions in the southeast, but right, less than an hour away from Moore County, a very affluent area. So I saw on Facebook, one of my friends did a drive through. They were doing home tear outs. He's a home builder. And on top of every single house that had got flooded with water, on top of the pile in front of the house was wet furniture and just stuff that had been destroyed. Water destroys everything. And on
Yeah.
top of every pile of furniture was a wet mattress sagged over. So it was this wet sag mattress ring. I was like, oh man, like we get used beds all the time. We can help. So I just made a Facebook call to action post, like, because we typically kept used beds anyway, like nice ones kind of set aside in the warehouse for whatever reasons. Like the stuff was sometimes too nice to just throw in the trash and the garbage. And plus it costs money to throw these things away too. So we just made a call to action on Facebook. If you lost everything to Hurricane Matthew in Robeson County and you're moving back in your home, we know the first thing you're going to need is a mattress. So outside of food and water, it's your third basic need, sleep. So we just responded with like 300 mattresses we took down there a month or two, and we just made Facebook posts. People message us. It was nothing very, there's no system. There's no system to it. Still really isn't one yet, I don't think. We just started making calls to action and people responded and we started taking beds, and then we got connected with FEMA. And so we just would take like 10 or 20 beds down to one of their warehouses because the people that were getting into their homes were already dealing with FEMA. So we found like a referral place so we didn't have to go to every single house. So we dropped off there, and the people moving back in their homes were already going through FEMA. They were able to get a bed. So it was a nice, like one-stop shop. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like we get used beds all the time. Like this is a disaster response. We get people that come in all the time, like fire departments, or people come in to buy a bed for somebody that's down on their luck, or somebody that's buying beds for a shelter or something like that. And it never even crossed my mind until this, that we get all these nice used beds in, like we have the ability to repurpose these beds for these organizations, and let's just like start doing that. So homeless shelters, evacuation centers, recovery homes, Habitat for Humanity, alcohol recovery centers, addiction recovery centers, domestic abuse centers, foster organizations, orphanages, all those places have places to sleep, right? And they're just about in every community, or somebody can think at least of five on one hand at any given moment, no matter where you live in the US and the world. It's like, dude, we're throwing away 50,000 mattresses away every single day. Why? Like, why? And we're just one store. So we just like started like talking about it in our branding. You buy a mattress from us. Well, we would make a lot of calls to actions. Like if you need assistance or help, there's not a real clean way of doing it in a sense of like organization, but we just make calls to action. If you're an entity or an organization and you need a bed or you're homing somebody, and then we just got known as the place that gives away beds. It's not necessarily the label we wanted, but it's just kind of how it worked out. So the marketing, and this was 2016, the marketing now 8 years later, it's like anything in the metasphere in this county or the surrounding counties regarding Facebook. And, Facebook is getting to be more popular than Instagram because more people are on it, and more people understand it, especially the older generation. So anything about a mattress, whether it's give, use, buy, or new, or somebody searching or somebody lost it, my name's tagged, Sweet Dreams is tagged, and Dreams for All's tagged. So like the amount of market share I have in the space of being, as we've talked about, being hyper local has just set us apart. And it's why people support us. I have a really low advertising budget. A lot of my budget yearly is actually spent on the nonprofit side, and was for a while up until this year. Sweet Dreams is upholding a lot of the costs, but this year it's officially like being able to fund itself from a sense of like costs and trucks and labor, sanitation costs and dump fees and just all the sorts it takes to warehouse and everything like that. So I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but essentially what we discovered is that you pick up a used bed when you get a new bed delivered and you're touching it. You have the delivery team already touching it. You are literally paying to trash it. You are literally putting it in your warehouse or taking it straight to the dump. Like, why not make a call to action? Just one family a month, man. That's it. If you take the 10,000 dealers across the US, that's 10,000 families, dude. You don't have to do a lot. It could be really easy. And I've come to find out in growing with this is that a lot of people, or there's a handful of us out here that are already kind of doing something similar. And I say similar, not the same. Similar is in like, oh yeah, we just give the used beds to an organization. There's no process, a program to it. A church comes and picks them up, or the guy comes and picks them up in his trailer and he sells them, or XYZ comes and grabs them, whatever the case is. And so a lot of these guys have actually like interlinked and networked with me and reached out. It's like, man, this is like really cool. Like, how do you do this? And so, after 8 years of doing this, we've helped in the nature of over 8 to 10,000 families as one entity, one store, one single location. I don't know who's listening. One single location. I don't have 10 stores. 20, 30, 40 stores. I have one store, and we've impacted 8 to 10,000 lives in 8 years. And that's what business is about. I don't give a shit. Sorry. I don't give a shit like how much money you have. My biggest qualm that when I talk to dealers and I talk to other people is like, I want to open more stores. I want to open more stores. Well, why? Well, to have more stores. Well, you're going to die wanting more stores. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? I've got 42. I want to get 50. I heard a guy say on stage, and I walked up to him after. I said, why? To have 50. Cool. For what? I mean, like, what's your purpose? Like, so in saying that, I've gained a sense of purpose. We've got the power of selling these white rectangles to change people's lives. People go to bed, they feel safe, they feel comforting. Yes, selling a bed and offering a service like retail mattresses is great in a community, but you're going to have a huge portion of your community, your homeless shelters, your recovery centers, your alcohol abuse homes, your recovery homes, I'll just repeat it again, all these places that need beds. And you're already getting the used beds. So all you're missing is that flow of like how to get that used bed to that entity. And that's what it's come down to. It's like, there's a resource, there's a need, let's bridge them. Let's bridge that gap. Uber's done it. Airbnb's done it. Like they've used the existing resource and created a platform around it and a program. And so that's my hardest part is like building out right now is like trying to develop a lot of systems and operating procedures and stuff like that. So we've recently brought in a consultant who's actually on our board and is going to take this, which he thinks is going to be about a 2-year project until every single system internally is fully built to where it's like a perfect delivery, right? But right now, like we have dealers like Mattress Firm South Texas, James Perez, their crew, dude, they're on board. Like they don't care how early in the game I am doing this. Like they care about what the mission and the purpose is. They've already received a tractor trailer of beds from me, new beds. I'll talk about that in a minute. I'll leave that snippet for later. They've received a tractor trailer from me, sanded nicely, sleep on it, Harrisonburg, Virginia. We've also connected. Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture. Mainly I deal with, everybody knows your favorite mattress superhero, Andy, Mattman. We're running a half marathon actually together. And he's almost convinced us to wear mattress costumes for a half marathon. And I agreed. Andy, I love you, but I'm kind of regretting that decision. I've gotten pretty aerodynamic in my big body. And the last thing I need to do is shove a mattress on it. I feel like it's going to take a lot longer, but I'll do what the team does. So these stores have seen that. And I've had other stores message me, man, that's so awesome what you do. How do you do it? So I know there's interest there. I know there's people that want to help, and I know they just want to figure out how to do it. So it's my job to bridge that gap. As I have more dealers reach out, as I'm on this like path to figuring it out, it's the best time to do it, man. When the ship's getting built, before it sets sail. And if it sets sail, we're still going to bring on other people. But like being the early adopters of something, look at some of the successful entities in the world, and you're like, man, I wish I would have got in there. I wish I would have done that. It's like, let's get in it together and figure it out. Like Chris Dunn is like, him and I's hearts matched on this. We met in New Jersey at a business seminar with Mark Kinsley doing like the kinetic formula, and they said something and I said something to him, and dude, it was just like these lights went off, man. I get chills talking about it because the dude is so fired up about it. They have their own Facebook page about it that we're working on to give each dealer their own Facebook page so they can be prominent in their community. And another part about this program is that it's okay to talk about it. You often talk to people, I don't want to talk about the good. I don't want to talk about how much I give, or I don't want to talk about this thing I did. And I'm like, but we can talk about the 16,000 square foot house and the mansions and the cars and how much money and the Gucci shoes we bought our kid and like all this other crap we can't take with us. Like, it's great. Support your kids, build a legacy, but show your kids like what it's like to have a purpose. So they're going to be doing that same rat race hamster wheel. If I just need a lot of money to give to my kids, those kids, I need a lot of money to give to my kids. It's a constant. Whose lives are you impacting? Like, are you truly having a sense of purpose and a sense of like self with your business? And this is really given that, and it's given the ability for other dealers to do that. So I encourage, and I will talk in our systems on how other dealers can can brand it in their store because we want it branded everywhere. We want to talk about it in our ads. When you buy a mattress, we give a mattress. Oh man, I always wondered what happened to those used beds. That's so great. They're not buying from anybody else.
Yeah.
When they hear that story, I will teach other dealers how to get press releases locally. Like, dude, those things have changed weekends in business for us. When a press release comes out of a big job that we did, we talk about 25% of it. I don't want you to sit there and talk about every single thing. There's a lot of private things that happen, but you want to be that catalyst, not just for the mattress business, but for your community. We've built this like epicenter around our store of like, it's not just mattresses anymore. Like we're the involved like business. I'm the involved guy that cares. A fire burns down, somebody posts a GoFundMe about it. They're collecting things for their home because they lost everything. Bam, I get tagged. Yeah, we're going to take care of beds. Like I said, I keep talking about it, domestic abuse. It's always going to happen. They send us a message. Like it's not typical for us to do individual requests, but you have the ability to take those individual requests. So on our website, it's taken a long time to get away from individual requests. It used to be just anybody could submit a request, and it's a very emotional, taxing job getting to hear everybody's story. It's just exhausting, man. It wears people out. So we shifted to just making other resources work for us, other referrals. So if you go to our website, you'll see a list of referral agencies that can send us a private form to request a bed on behalf of an entity, of a person. So they can request. So Samaritan Colonies in Rockingham. This is how cool this works. Samaritan Colonies in Rockingham. We put 24 beds there, 24 mattresses, 24 twins. Now, it's a 28-day program for men recovering, and then they can stay in the program and transition into one of their homes where they get to stay for 9 months. We provide beds for that transitional home. Now, this guy moves out on his own. He's got to get his place set up. They can also request beds for that guy moving into his home. So we got you from the start until you get where you can lay your head, because you don't need to go to some no credit nonsense check place or pick up a used bed on the other side of town or overpay for something that you really, maybe it's not that great a quality. Like we're going to provide it all the way through. And that's just 3 mattresses to impact, like, one life. So over that time period. So it's not just like at this stage in their life, it's their transitional points. That's where people are buying mattresses. So we're providing them at those transitional points. So we've been able to do a lot. We've covered every single nonprofit in our county. And I mean, I'm sure there's still more. I often make Facebook posts making sure we've covered those bases. And then the surrounding 8 counties, we've definitely touched on several charities that are homing people, shelters and all that stuff. Lee County, Montgomery County, Hope County, Richmond County, Scotland County, Harnett County. So there's like 8 surrounding counties that touch our county. So, we have the ability to do that. I don't want you to think of it specifically from a money perspective, but an investment in time. Like those people that know about that and what you're doing, they're going to come buy from your business. Now you're gaining traction from a farther outreach because there's people that volunteer there and there's people that have family in those organizations. A lot of family are very private about if their family's going through a recovery process or anything. So, those people will support you to the end of their life. Dude, like I'm never going anywhere else. I had a presentation the other day with a small group of women's church, and it was like, it's been 7 years since this has come to fruition. And she's like, 8 or 9 years ago, she just spoke up, wasn't planned. I went to a lot of places. There was this woman that came from a domestic abuse situation, and they were sleeping in the car. All they had was sleeping bags, and her son was 16. And I just, God, I can't think about, they've been sleeping on this. And I went to a bunch of stores and I came to you and you just gave me the mattresses. And everybody heard that, right? So nobody's going anywhere else. People talk about that. That's cool. And we have a great delivery service and people will brag about that. But what is impacting, not just the people you're helping, is the people that are hearing the story. Is the delivery team going on the delivery, delivering a new mattress, removing the old mattress. By the way, the store didn't tell you, this bed will be repurposed to a local family. That's going to stick. And they're going to tell their friends at that dinner party or their family that night or that next week. It's like, that is like instilled and burned into their brain. So at the end of 2022, a good friend of mine, Mark Quinn, Quinn, he wasn't able to make our fundraiser, but he's like, Keith, I put a line into you for this big company X. I'll just say it. They want to remain anonymous. You might be getting a call from them. I didn't know what that meant. I was like, okay, cool. I'll just say it's the largest in quantifying like quantity selling mattresses in the world. Let's just start with that. It's about $1 billion company. So Tempur-Pedic is also a partner, but this other company sells in a quantifying perspective. They sell way more mattresses than Tempur-Pedic. And it's just because of a price point. It's cheap. That being said, so we were contacted by them and they hit us with like, we want to start working with you. So they hit us with, we've got 30 tractor trailers of donations. So they sent me a product list. A lot of it was stuff I couldn't use. It was odd and end furniture, but a lot of it was roll pack mattresses. So I got with Habitat and they took a lot of the odd and end stuff and distributed it to multiple habitats and gave back a portion of the proceeds to Dreams for All. While the mattresses, we got inundated with like a bunch of mattresses. And I had no space, by the way, at the time for this stuff. So like, yeah, as soon as you finish this 30, we've got 300 more. 300 more 53 footers. Cool, man. I like a challenge. Let's go. And they're like, well, Keith, like, we don't want you to get like overwhelmed, like, you know, to get, they also want to get like me to get dislodged and not be able to help them because they want to move product. So like, go through the list and like, let's be fair. Like, we want you to take a lot of the stuff you don't need, but also like, I know you need mattresses. So I ended up with another 100 tractor trailers in 2023 that flowed from December of 22 through about March. And I still had no space for it, man. So stuff just continued to flow. I gave a lot away because I didn't know what to do. And it wasn't I don't regret that decision. I just wish I had a better system set up. But I knew saying yes, I would have to kind of flex and fold and figure it out. It's my favorite saying, like, figure it out. You can figure it out if you want to. So I received 100 tractor trailers with no space. All right. So later on in the year, we were able to make an agreement and double our warehouse size from 27 to 57,000 square feet. So we were able to 80% of my warehouse operation and storage is for mattresses we received through this organization. So now we're helping entities on a bigger level. You know, Samaritan Colony was like 25 beds, but like last month we delivered over 100 beds. We took 55 to the Special Warfare Training Center for soldiers that have been injured and recovered. We took X amount of beds to a homeless shelter in Cumberland County that transitions people. And then we took to the local Sandhills Adult and Teen Challenge, we took about 14 mattresses and bed frames. So not counting individual requests that come off the book. So the need's there. The need will always be there. If I could find the biggest company in the world to give us mattresses, like, you know, I've been pretty successful doing that. So I've got these other dealers, like they'll pay X amount of dollars to get the stuff transported down there. I wouldn't say at this point, I don't want to say it too out loud that I've got more than I can give, but we've got a good amount of beds. Tempur-Pedic has been great on the donation side of things. I have been lucky enough to be one of their national partners. I connected to the right lady, and it's not a given month that goes by we get a tractor trailer of new Tempur-Pedics to donate at our own free will. So it's a pretty cool gig. So I've got the most known brand, Tempur-Pedic, and I got Company X, that's the largest, that sell to Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot, Target, and I'm just one star, bro. So Dreams for All is a registered 501c3 in July of 2017. We have a tax ID. I've done all the right stuff. We have figured it out, and we're just cleaning up the process and the systems to make things better. We have a website. We've got a request form. We have, you know, our social media pages. We have artwork, marketing, directing. But I asked anybody even remotely interested in the program, just like reach out and just let's start having a conversation. And just like, if your heart's in the right place, like let's grow together. Last year, we had our 6th annual fundraiser where we broke 100K raising. This year, we're going into our 7th annual fundraiser. It's in Pinehurst. I offer a 2-day immersive experience, so of relationship building and networking. It's not a lot of sitting down. It's not a lot of, I've been to a lot of that stuff, a lot of workshops and sitting down and watching people on a stage. My goal with this is in early 2023, I went to Colorado with Matt Smith and went to his Undercover Billionaire, met a lot of cool people, but I learned, as you probably know if you follow me on social media, you know I love ice plunging, and so I ice bath now every day. We jumped in a reservoir. The first time we did it, I could hardly sit halfway down. The very next morning, a group of the guys got together and one gal, and we went out to a reservoir at 5:30 a.m. The wind's blowing, middle of Colorado. It's cold outside. The water's under 40 degrees. Like, it was terrible. We all walked in the water together. The day before, 30 seconds. The next day, 9 minutes. Life-changing, man. It rewired me, how I think, how I operate, how I do things. And so I wanted to involve people more. It's kind of a meeting at the round table about the status of Dreams for All, where we want to take it, collaborating, putting ideas together, putting plans on paper. We physically go on a Dreams for All delivery. We go to a local entity, and the people with us, and there's like a couple Tempur-Sealy reps. There was a Mattress Firm guys were down here, the group from South Texas. Sandon Harris was here from Virginia. It was a mix of everybody. And we went on delivery. We went there where they were physically at, and the people that were recovering were there too. So everybody got to intermingle and have an experience. They got the power of feeling, of giving that person a nice mattress to sleep on. We came back, we created a plan of action while high on emotion. We have a dinner that night. The next day we wake up, everybody comes over to my house. It's not too early, I won't freak you out, but everybody comes over to my house like 7:30 or 8. Everybody does their cold plunge, and it's changed lives. It's changed mine. And I know a lot of people that have shifted to that mindset and doing it, but everybody came over and did a cold plunge. And like, even James Perez, mad shout out, the dude was wearing a sweatshirt in like 75 degrees, hated the cold, and he got in it.
Nice.
So
good for James.
yeah,
Nice,
so
man.
James got in it, and I know they had a great time. We went from there. We had our breakfast I had it catered at my home, and then we went to a habitat build to help somebody else in the community together as a group. And we had lunch, and then we break away in the fundraisers that night. And after the fundraiser, there's an after party for a small group
Nice.
at my house. So
Great.
just network building, relationship building. We're talking about what we're doing with Dreams for All, but we're being part and involved and hyper local in the community, because that stuff is available where you go.
Yeah, definitely, man. How can people reach you?
2 different ways to reach me. My Instagram is moneymaker.dreams, Moneymaker Dreams, or Keith Moneymaker. I'm easy to find. Or email me, dreamsforall21@gmail.com. And our website is dreamsforall.org. send me an email, send me a message. Let's get connected. I'd love to just bring you on board as we're growing this thing, because we're still building the ship and we're able
Yeah.
to help thousands of people. So come help with us.
Yeah. Sounds like a great thing. All right,
Awesome.
Keith.
Appreciate it,
Well, thanks so
Alex.
much
Thank
for talking about that today.
Yeah, of course, buddy. Thanks for your time.